273rd regular season meeting between the Flyers and Rangers. Their first one this season usually produces pretty intense and entertaining hockey.
Let's take a look at our Kia starting netminders tonight. No Henrik Lundqvist for the New York Rangers. Cam Talbot gets the start. You see his numbers down there with the Hartford Wolfpack. Off to a very good start there. Marty Biron retires. Cam Talbot gets the opportunity to come up. Steve Mason gets the start and goal for the Flyers. And this guy returns. Vinny Lecavalier will play the right side here, starting tonight with Claude Giroux and Michael Raffl.
First time in his career at any level he has played right wing, and here he is after the puck. Hit across the line. Lecavalier to the backhand. The shot and the save made by Talbot. He makes the stop on the very first shot he sees at the NHL level. Flyer line combinations at the top of your screen, followed by the defense pair. Coburn back. Flyers, of course, wearing their orange jerseys, road whites for the Rangers, as Coburn will play it across ice. Michael Raffl gets to it there. Hang on to the puck, move it to center, and then off the stick of Giroux. Giroux back after it, but overskates, and it's tipped back through the neutral zone. Coburn back to get to it, and now he finds Grossman. Now the Ranger combinations at the top of your screen, along with their defense pairs, and some big names missing for the Rangers, no question about that. I already told you about Lundqvist, but they're also without Rick Nash with a concussion, and Ryan Callahan, their captain, who of course has had some success against the Flyers in the past. This is icing on New York.
And the Flyers happy to have Vinny Lecavalier back in the mix for them. And we talked a lot about him playing the right side tonight. His first shift for Craig Berube on the right wing. He had a nice burst of speed and created a scoring chance just seconds into the opening of this hockey game. That's a good sign for Vinny to get comfortable as fast as he can playing with Giroux. That should come pretty quickly.
I talked to him today after the skate, and said the biggest thing he was worried about is he drift to the middle, because of course that's where he's been so much. It almost subconsciously might drift there occasionally and maybe get in the way, but he said overall practice felt quite comfortable. Big hit by Kimmo Timonen, the puck off the back of the net. Now Taylor Pike gets it out in front, loose puck, jammed out of there, and it will drift to the neutral zone. And then Girardi will go back and pick it up for the Rangers. He's been known for his steadiness. Into center, Jake Voracek to it. Pitches it into the Rangers zone, but Ryan McDonough first to it, turned it over behind the net. Shen after the puck. Took a hit. Voracek tried to help him out. But finally is dug free. 3 Rangers, 2 Flyers battling for it behind the net of Cam Talbot. Finally, it's Brian Boyle who emerges with the puck. And the big forward will chip it off glass to center ice. Luke Shen will knock it down there. Almost 2 minutes in. Glad you could join us on Comcast Sportsnet for the Flyers and Rangers. First of 4 meetings this season between these two clubs. Twice here and twice at Madison Square Garden. Right with a shot that's blocked. Got to get after the loose puck, but the Rangers find it. Well, Pouliot didn't get much on that. It's backhanded right back in by the Flyers. Now that will be played there by the defenseman John Moore, and he'll get to Michael Del Zotto, who was a healthy scratch for the Rangers in their last game. Misfires on that pass, but no icing. So Mason out of his net to play it off the glass and boards out to center ice. Del Zotto on it there. Move it ahead. E.T. Miller at the Philadelphia line could not control. Coburn across. Nick Grossman will spin it to Adam Hall, and Hall will backhand to the neutral zone. Fourth line was out for the Flyers. Sort of in the middle of the line change right now. That shot by Dominic Moore, batted away by Mason. Moore gets to it again, but Giroux intercepts his pass. Ahead to Raffl, will throw it across ice, but that's intercepted. Mark Stahl to it. Little wrist shot deflected, and it goes out of play. That went off the stick of Brandon Mashinter, who's playing in his first game for the Rangers this year. Their virtuous scratches from the lineups. We told you about Callahan, Nash, Lundqvist, big names there for the Rangers. Hagelin also injured. Zuccarello and Falk are healthy scratches. Scott Hartnell making progress, has practiced some, but still out for the Flyers. They get Lecavalier back.
Yeah, big challenge for Alain Vigneault with those players missing from his lineup. I don't think there's 3 better New York Rangers for the Flyers to have out. Lundqvist, of course, the outstanding netminder. Nash, one of the best power forwards in the league. And Ryan Callahan, one of the best captains in the NHL. So the Flyers want to take full advantage of that. And Alain Vigneault wants to kind of piece together a lineup here to try to steal a win on the road.
Yeah, Vigneault, of course, trading places with John Tortorella. Tortorella now the coach in Vancouver. Vigneault comes here to New York, and he has had some adversity, that's for sure. Here's Couturier with a quick shot. Talbot, the save wasn't quite sure where it was, but he had it. And he gets the whistle.
Tricky little shot, eh, Coates?
It really tricky, and I think that Couturier is really going to flourish here playing with Reed and Simmons, because he's playing with a couple of guys who'll get the puck for him and then give it back if he gets it to them. And right there, you'll see that quick wrist shot where it just dumps right in the middle, moves in the other direction, and then nearly catches Talbot.
Couturier back to the bench as you see the early chances. 2 of the 3 belong to Philadelphia. The Flyers win the draw. Schenn will play it to the boards. The shot is blocked. Cavalier couldn't get that one through. Now Raffl, hit into the boards, and he's shaken up. And there'll be a penalty. Boarding is the call. Raffl making sure all the parts are in order as he went in awkwardly. And the Rangers will be the first team shorthanded here tonight. Ryan Boyle making his way to the sin bin.
Easy call here. The puck's already gone. It's the late hit by Boyle right in front of the referee, and the Flyers will head to the power play.
Well, a week off for Craig Berube. He certainly took advantage of it as he worked with his club.
We got a lot of hard work in and a lot of system work. I think it's good that that break came at the time to work on the system and get more familiar with it and work on the power play and just some new line combinations. So I thought it was good, and we got some real good skating in this week.
He mentioned it, working on the power play certainly was part of it. And the power play gets an early opportunity right here. 1 for its last 21, but it has a new look. Jonesy, Mark Streit on the point, and Lecavalier up front.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see Streit as that quarterback of the #1 unit. He was playing on the second unit. He replaces Kimmo Timonen. Berube wanting Timonen to be fresher at penalty kill situations and 5-on-5 play.
And McDonough to the puck for the Rangers, and he will clear it all the way down. Streit, who of course has been the quarterback of power play units, the Islanders and Montreal. Look at the numbers as Lecavalier lost the puck in center. Look out here, Strawman with the puck. Strawman moving up. It's a 2-on-1. He holds, he centers, and Foss shot goes wide. He was spitting to the ice. Now the Flyers 3-on-2 the other way. Voracek holds, centers, it deflects just wide. It went off a Ranger, but it went wide of the net. And now Pyatt will try to clear, but could not. Kept in. Giroux's pass is knocked down, and another break the other way for the Rangers. Pyatt with the puck. It's 2-on-2. His shot right into the breadbasket of Mason. And he'll hang on, and then Simmons tries to take care of things in front.
Couple opportunities at both ends of the ice. The New York Rangers with a shorthanded opportunity as we look at Cam Talbot there. Mason didn't have to make a save on it. The pass just misses. Strawman slides it across, and you can see Mason was a good position to try to make the save on Foss.
And back come the other way with Voracek. He's looking, he's trying to get that puck right over. And you see Simmons, he had his stick on the ice, but he didn't see the puck coming. But that was a good attempt by Voracek to get by the defender and get that puck across.
Each team with an odd man rush. They came right in a rapid succession there. 47 seconds remain on the Philadelphia power play. Timonen sends that in from his side of the red line, and that's icing, as the Rangers were deemed to be getting to that dot first.
Not exactly what Craig Berube is looking for the power play, but a couple of new units. It takes time to get used to playing with one another, and looked like that may have been the issue there with a little miscommunication on the entry into the offensive zone.
Couturier, Reed, and Braden Schenn up front. Timonen and Gustafsson. Appointment for this second unit. Even one of the leaders in power play points in the NHL last year, but he had struggled this year, and there was off of that pass, and he's right back down the ice. Mason will get to Gustafsson. 23 seconds remaining. Man advantage as we approach the 5-minute mark of this first period. Here's Couturier, faced by 2 Rangers, lost the puck, but it's taken back by Philadelphia. Timonen to Gustafsson. Gustafsson cross ice. It's tipped in front and then off the stick of Schenn to the corner. Couturier ridden by McDonough. Into the boards. It's dug free though. Schenn got it back to Timonen. Timonen looking things over. Back to Braden Schenn. Side of the net. Couturier in front. Braden Schenn poked it wide. Might have been meant for Matt Reed, but Schenn was in the vicinity. Gustafsson knocks down a clear. The power play is over. The Rangers are back to full strength. McDonough. The Flyers get to him. Boyle trying to help McDonough out. The puck ahead to Derek Dorsett. The former Columbus Blue Jacket will tip it back around behind, and Girardi will start up. The Rangers kill off the first Flyer power play of the game. Dorsett will wind the puck in. Mason to Coburn, and now it's Grossman. Grossman nearly lost it, got it back. It goes off a stick deep into the Rangers zone. John Moore has to play it to Delzato. Delzato up the wall. Grossman pinches and does so effectively. Got the puck to Ronaldo. Ronaldo, Engel tries to save, rebound out in front, but Chris Kreider knocked it away. Kreider in his first game of the Rangers this year, just up from the Hartford Wolfpack. Now the Flyers Flyers get the puck again. Talbot trying to center, and Aldo after it. It bounces in the air. Talbot snares the puck, and play is stopped. No score early on. University game notes, suspensions galore. More on that in a moment. The Sharks, the only team remaining without a regulation loss. Daniel Alfredson shut out against his former team, and his former team did a number on his current team. But you look at the quick starting teams, Jonesy, those Sharks, the only team that's in jeopardy tonight as they take on the Bruins. We'll keep tabs on that game.
Yeah, they played well against Boston, though, in the recent past. A lot of suspensions around the National Hockey League of late. Patrick Coletta's 10-game suspension upheld by Gary Bettman, the commissioner of the National Hockey League, today after hearing his appeal. And John Scott has a visit with Brendan Shanahan, an in-person hearing set up for that high late hit on Louis Eriksson. Eriksson out indefinitely with a concussion. Already the Boston Bruins announced it, not just symptoms. It is a concussion, and that's a big loss for the Bees.
Has Coletta's camp decided whether they're going to arbitration after the decision by Mr. Bettman?
Yeah, still not over. There's a lot of suspensions, at least 8 unofficially, and Scott, a really good bet to be getting suspended for that hit on Eriksson.
Well, he already said as much himself.
That's right, he did.
Said he didn't sleep last night after seeing it, felt sick to his stomach, so that's never a great way to approach your meeting with Brendan Shanahan.
Yeah, is that Strawman moving the puck in. His shot fended off by Mason to the corner. Right was knocked down, but Luke Shen will catch up to the puck. It had Mandela Caballé. Cross ice, just out of the reach of Giroux, will play it off the boards. And across the line, drops it for Strike. Strike flips one, goes off his stick, and then out of play. And the face-off will be to the right of Cam Talbot.
Well, the Flyers return home Tuesday to take on the Anaheim Ducks at 7 o'clock. Get a great seat with the all-for-one deal, including a ticket to the game plus food and drinks in the Lexus Club, starting at just $85. Call now to reserve yours.
This team right now needs something good to happen. Whether it be anywhere on the ice surface, just to get them going and get them thinking about the fact that good things can happen.
Well, sometimes it's just that first good break or first good play that gets you going, but the Flyers right now in a scoreless game here early with the Rangers, two teams who have both struggled to score goals. They're at 11 goals apiece for the entire season, both of these teams tied at the bottom of the NHL, so perhaps expect a low-scoring game here. The Jackson Jinx turns around the other way. That shot by Richards goes high and wide and out to center ice. If the Jackson Jinx does that, Jonesy, we want it to be at the other end of the ice.
Exactly. Yeah, I think we saw early on a couple of these chances. Richards misses the net there. He's been the hottest shooter for the New York Rangers. The 2-on-1s for both teams end up going wide without scoring opportunities. Both clubs are clutching the sticks pretty tight.
Braden Shen after the puck here. He finds forward check. Knifing on in the shot. They rebound. And McGinn was denied on the doorstep as Talbot was right there. And the youngster has had a couple of tests and he's passed them here early on. The battle for the puck. 7 players out of 7 involved, and finally managed to get that one back to Dominic Moore. Second tour of duty with the Rangers. It's his 9th NHL team. Teams have wanted him. That shot denied by Mason. Now Moore centering, but Myers there. McGinn got it out to the neutral zone, but that's it. Girardi takes over. Quick pass back. Dominic Moore. He was tied up, in fact. Done so in an illegal manner by Ty McGinn, and McGinn will go to the box, hooking the call.
Voracek doing a nice job there on the entry just prior to McGinn's penalty. You can see the stick handling abilities of Voracek. A couple hooks on the hands there as well. And
that puck just released right at the last second, Jonesy, right here.
Yeah, you can see the tap on the hands right there just prior to shooting it, and then the hook here in the neutral zone as McGinn gets that stick in around Dominic Moore. It wasn't much, but he'll head to the box.
Right off the draw shot, and the save made by Mason as Richards on the point, able to get that through. And yes, Brad Richards is an outstanding passer, Jonesy, but if you really look at his career, he also likes to shoot the puck.
It's amazing, isn't it? He loves to shoot the puck, and a lot of his assists come on rebound opportunities. Never shies away from that opportunity to blast away, and you saw a good example of it right there.
Off the face-off, the Flyers control Coburn, looking for Adam Hall, but he was overtaken, and Delzato will keep it in. Rangers will get set up. First man advantage of the game. Delzato's pass intercepted, knocked down by Hall, and if he waited a split second, he might have had Max Talbot moving up there, but Anytime you clear, I guess you can't say it's a bad play.
And when you have a week to work on power play, the penalty kill guys are doing a lot of work as well, and you got a good example there of Adam Hall with a nice job with the stick in the passing lane.
Look at the numbers. Flyers with a steal here. It's 2-on-1. Reed and Couturier. Reed with the puck. Reed the shot. Reed the goal. He scores! The Flyers on the board. Their first shorthanded goal. Matt Reed's first goal of the season. Matt Reed's first goal ever against the Rangers. 1-0 Flyers. Reed scores for Case of Tasty King.
Not his first ever against Cam Talbot, though. He played a lot against him in college. You can see you don't mind finding the 5-hole on that one. A terrific shot by Matt Reed on the rush. Looked off the pass and fired it quickly.
I love the decision to shoot the puck. Couturier was coming, but no, he decided to shoot it right through the 5-hole, and Matt Reed is back. That's the kind of Matt Reed we saw in years prior.
He did see Cam Talbot in college. In Bemidji State, Matt Reed had the better of Cam Talbot, who played at Alabama Huntsville, to the point, to the tune of almost a goal a game. We'll get to those numbers, but very impressive. That might have been a reason, Coachy, why he was thinking shot all the way.
Exactly. He had 12 goals in 13 games against him in college, picked up 8 assists as well, so he's comfortable playing against him.
Yeah, you make that 13 goals now, and this one counts probably even more than all the rest of them, as this one's in the NHL. Unassisted, short-handed tally for Reed. Matt Reed, one of the guys who we've been talking about the Flyers' guns that need to start firing. He's actually played well, but just had nothing to show for it on the scoreboard. Play called here.
Let's take a look at this once again, because you're going to see Matt Reed coming off the offside. In other words, he's coming down the left wing as a right-hand shot, so he's looking. He knows he's got Couturier, keeps the defenseman way to his right, and then right at the last second, he elects to take that shot, and he just waited for Talbot. It was just a matter of waiting, seeing that 5-hole was open, and he just absolutely took advantage of it.
Wonder how many of his goals back in college were 5-hole against Talbot.
If you got that stat, you're pretty impressed.
Coatsy's going to find out at the first intermission when he does his interview with him.
There you go.
Question number 1.
Jonesy's producing the show here.
Yep.
Already have our interview. It's all set up. And Coatsy, you now have a question to ask as well. Here's Talbot, side of the net. They'll set the puck up. And the Rangers still a couple seconds now remaining on their power play, and again poised to leave the box. He's out. Fires back to full strength. They score the shorthanded goal. There's a takedown and a penalty. The Flyers will go to the bad advantage as Reed, after scoring a goal, now draws a penalty against Brad Richards. So the Flyers, courtesy of Matt Reed, are on top in this game. A shorty. The Flyers 1-0 advantage. The power play after this.
1-0 the Philadelphia Flyers lead, and Matt Reed, who scored the goal, well, he's going to create an opportunity here on the power play. Brad Richards going to get called, and he heads the penalty box, so the Flyers head to the power play for the second opportunity of tonight.
There's Richards. Flyers with a shorthanded goal. Now they'll try to get a power play tally. Mr. McDonald's power play payoff contested. Rangers able to win the draw. Girardi turns and gets plenty of air underneath that. All the way down. Kenneth Streit, the quarterback of this power play. And he leads the rush. Pass off the stick of Giroux deep into the Rangers zone. Voracek tries to go get it. And with the help of LeCavalier, the Flyers do gain control. Giroux spinning it across ice to Streit. Streit back to Giroux, the one-timer, and it deflects and goes wide. Now Simmons behind the net and didn't get enough on that pass. McDonough knocked down by LeCavalier. Simmons gets the pass, but his attempt into the middle is knocked down and cleared.
Just slow it down a little bit. Everybody's so anxious to get things going. Slow it down.
Now, that's not surprising given it's a new unit and they haven't played in a week. I think that's human nature. A little anxious. Giroux after the puck here. Stallman got in his way, but Simmons recaptures the puck for Philadelphia. Simmons, check. Now he's in some trouble here. And to maintain possession, got it back to LeCavalier. Cross ice, one-time blast, straight save made Talbot. And no further play. Good job of rebound control by the 26-year-old goaltender. Saturday, NCAA hockey is live. The Comcast Network. Watch Penn State clash with Vermont Saturday night at 5 over on the Comcast Network. Ryan Smith Brian Boucher will handle the call.
Can't wait to hear that.
Yes.
Boosh back in town.
Bush is back in town. Indeed. His broadcasting debut.
Yes. Looking forward to it.
We're talking him up so much because he's sitting up here in the booth with us right now. Taking the game in and learning from the best analysts, Steve Coates, and Steve fans in the business. Here is Couturier turning with the puck. And he'll flip it to Matt Reed. Reed back out to Gustafsson. Now he'll float one toward, then off his skate, bounces free, and back out to the point. Here's Timonen. Have it set up, 34 seconds on the power play. And then laying it off for Gustafsson. Hard pass across, bounces to Reed, and the slide. His shot was blocked. And now Dominic Moore will clear.
Dan Girardi looked a little sore as he went off the ice there. Matt Reed had that opportunity to shoot the puck in the slot area, and Girardi, I think, blocked it right around the chest area.
Final rush on this man advantage. Gustafsson having trouble finding seam to get that puck in. Finally did. Stahl after it. Checked by Couturier. And Jesper Fast. It is also checked. The puck rolls free. Out of the box jumps Richards. And here come the Rangers suddenly with numbers. Here's Pyatt with the puck. Pyatt dropping it back to Richards. Set it in front. Knocked aside. Flyers now look for the counter rush. Schenn ahead to Couturier. Rangers getting back. And Couturier will just slip the puck into New York zone. Flyers will change. 7:10 remaining in this first period. Shots are 7-5 in favor of the Flyers, and they have the 1-0 lead. That's us along with our great crew here from the Wells Fargo Center. As we go inside the glass, the one Steve Coates who's got company.
Yeah, Big John from New York is with me here, but let's talk a little bit about the guy to my left. And that is Steve Mason. Picked up at the end of last year at a great save percentage of .944. But on top of that, this year he has been absolutely spectacular, doing everything what the Flyers expected after picking up the former Calder Trophy winner as Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, he basically just picked up where he left off last year. And you wonder, a week off when you're playing well and you get a week off, sometimes you don't like it that much. But Mason hoping that he still has the same mojo he had in early games this year. Gustafsson circles behind the net, knocks it off, Coburn across. Ronaldo skates the puck to the red line. Involved with Brad Richards as well as the linesman John Grant. Calzado feels the wrath of Zach Ronaldo. Told you about the shots advantage for the Flyers as Strike goes back to get it. Strike. Puts it off for LeCavalier. Now right back to Strike. He's got some room to work with. Right in across the line. The dish to LeCavalier. Look to go back into the middle for Raffl. It was tipped away. Now Raffl after it. There's two Rangers to deal with. Stayed with it. Got it to LeCavalier. Got to Luke Schenn. Back to LeCavalier. Circling. Waiting. Now the pass to Strike. Strike around behind the net. Looks in front. Continues to look. There's Raffl. And he was toppled to the ice as the puck came his way. And it's knocked out to the neutral zone. Flyers get it back. That pass over the stick of LeCavalier, and so since he didn't touch it, they're saying it is icing. LeCavalier disagrees with that call.
Thought he touched it there. The college hockey face-off is set for this Saturday. Catch Division I hockey at its finest when Penn State and Vermont compete on the Wells Fargo Center ice. Tickets start at just $10 and are available online at ComcastTix.com.
That will not be the only college hockey played in this building here over the next 4 or 5 months. Frozen Four, of course, coming in the spring. Representatives from the NCAA were here today checking out the facility. That's a spectacular event if you've ever even watched it on television, the emotion and passion. Frozen Four. Dominic Moore shot, save Mason, big rebound. Voracek put it out of harm's way. Now Stahl's shot blocked. Bounces right back to Mark Stahl. He'll fire again, and that one wide of everything. Up the wall it goes, and Braden Schenn will clear it. Deflected, so no icing.
See where Braden Schenn was right there? He came back to help. That's something they hadn't been doing. You got to get back, help out your defense. He went right back to the hash mark and pick up that puck.
Less than 5 minutes remaining now in this first period. The Rangers will move up. Eric Brassard. He's stopped. Schenn knocks it down. Braden Schenn, the right wing feed to Voracek. Begins going to the net. Voracek tried to get it through, but could not. And now the Rangers look to move back. Gustafsson cuts him off at the red line, and then the Rangers get it back, and Brassard will play it in. Mason having a little difficulty with this. Still got that puck away. Boy, that took some talent right there. And the pass from Brayden Schenn misses time again. Makes it icing again on Philadelphia. So the face-off down the ice. Gives us a chance to tell you our Jeep trivia question of tonight's game. The Flyers and Rangers are frequent playoff combatants. 10 times they have played one another. Which team ranks second in terms of meetings with the Flyers in the playoffs? The Penguins, the Devils, or the Sabres? I'll give you the answer later on in the broadcast. It's not an easy one.
It's not. My guess would be Buffalo. Dating back to the Stanley Cup.
They did have a 7 or 8 year period, where they faced the Sabres quite a bit, but they faced the Penguins a lot lately too, and the Devils as well. So that's a good one. We'll give you the answer in the second intermission. Brayden Schenn slings that one in on goal. Talbot will set it up. 4 minutes remaining in this first period. John Moore, smooth skating defenseman, moving well in across the line. The shot, save made. Mason rebound. Moore got a crack at it, but it was deflected wide. Set up a turnover, and the Richards shot was denied by Mason. As the Rangers trying to spend some time in the offensive zone here. Some sloppy play by the Flyers allowing them to do just that. Pyatt wrapped up by Couturier. Pyatt's pass, the Engels shot. Richards could not get that one through, and now it's Couturier to Simmons. First try he couldn't clear. Second try bounces across ice, and there's Coburn moving up with it. A wind and blast wide out the other side. Couturier beaten to it by McDonough. Now Fost to Pyatt, rumbling through center ice. Taylor Pyatt, the shot deflected out of play by Streit, and there's your whistle. 3:17 to go in the first. Still 1-0 Flyers. Flyers with the first period lead. Zach Rinaldo is wearing a mic for us tonight. He is our live wire subject. Let's listen in.
Yeah! All right! Oh, yeah! Strong team! What's up, boys?
The fans got to understand, if he sees the blue and red of the Rangers, he's going to know that they're with the wrong team. But Zach, even in the pregame warm-up, is quite talkative.
And if he sees the blue and white of the Rangers on the ice, he's going to hit it.
Yes.
And he's done a lot of that in the early going. The fourth line has played a lot. Ronaldo back on the ice, and Craig Berube using Max Talbot and Adam Hall with Ronaldo an awful lot here in the first period, trying to get that fourth line out on the ice and keep the team battling. And the minutes down for players like Giroux, who have played a lot in the early going this season.
The fourth line, and we've seen it come Stanley Cup playoff time, can be so important in terms of supplying that energy. And Zach Rinaldo plays with energy every shift. He's credited thus far with 1 hit in this game, but of course the Flyers hits leader. Flyers as a team 9 hits to 6 for the Rangers here. Early on, Ronaldo had McDonough in his sights there. Lansing blowing out, Streit moving up. Now behind, Talbot interfered with by McDonough. Penalty, and then the shot on going easy save for Talbot. Back to Streit in the middle hall. Back to Streit. There's the line, Streit all the way across now, still in control. Tried to chip it to himself, but got cut off, and Ronaldo has to rotate back to get to the puck. 2:40 remaining in this first period. Luke Schenn backhands it ahead, and Hall will further it into the zone. Ronaldo now all wrapped up, and he's going to go with Derek Dorsett. This is a nice matchup here. 2 gritty guys, and Ronaldo got a couple rights in, and then a right cross, and then Dorsett got Ronaldo, and down he went. Couple guys who will back down from no one, even though they aren't the biggest guys in the world. They both got some shots in.
Good energizing fight right there for both teams. Ronaldo went down to the ice, and Dorsett made sure he didn't throw any extra punches. Good on him. A respectable way to fight, and Ronaldo had an opportunity to lay a big body check at McDonough. Watch him keep the shoulder in, didn't throw the elbow out. It's a perfect example of how to make contact without picking the player's head. We're behind you.
And right there, you can see that Dorsett's going to come over and he's going to defend his teammate McDonough after that attempted hit in the neutral zone. Now you see right there, Dorsett doesn't really hit. Then Ronaldo comes back with a couple of good rights, but right there, you see Dorsett come up with a pretty good right hand on Ronaldo, but that's a couple of guys going at it the old style, and just flat out grab and go.
It's really how Berube used to fight too, those quick punches that he didn't mind exchanging them, and that really gets the fans pumped up watching the guys throw them like that.
Dorsett listed at 192 pounds. Zach listed at 169. It's closer to 185, 190. Either. Anyway, you shake it though, they're not the biggest guys in the world, but they'll fight the biggest guys in the world if they have to. Lou could not clear the zone there. Derek Brassard across for JT Miller. His pass tipped by Gustafson. And Gustafson goes and gets the puck as well. And now the Flyers able to move up. 3-on-2 developing, although the Rangers are getting back. Sort of an alley-oop kind of pass for Raffl. They go after it in the corner with Strawman. And right there is Miller. JT Miller, the 20-year-old, moving the puck ahead. A pass from Brassard. Ends up on the stick of Gustafson. Good for Raffl, but he could not hang on. And Strawman will just clear the zone. Nick Grossman on it. Takes the puck back and now hitting Giroux, who's reeling back with it. Flyers drifting back into their own zone here, looking to organize the rush. Here's Grossman. Gains the line and gives to Simmons. Simmons tried to go across ice, was denied. Second try, just slots it deep. Couturier is there. Checked by Stepan. And Chris Kreider will pick up the puck. And outlets Delzato. He loves to join the rush. Delzato will backhand deep into the Philadelphia zone. Kreider and Reed after. Kreider got it into the corner. Stepan around behind the net. Richards could not knock it down. Delzato will get to it. Behind the net now, Kreider. All kinds of speed and talent for Kreider. To put it all together. And Stepan to Richards. Richards flips it in. They score! Well, it's never a bad play to fire it at the net. He did just that, and somehow it winds up behind Mason and in. We're tied at 1.
Talked about Richards earlier in this period. He'll shoot the puck from anywhere, and for good reason. From an next to impossible angle, Richards fires it right around the goal line, and it ends up getting itself to the back of the net. There's the work in the corner. There's Richards just firing it, and not sure if it goes off the shin pad of Braden Coburn or not, but it looks like it redirects off something. And there it is off of Coburn.
Yeah, and Mason had assumed that puck was coming right at him as he came off the pipe. When it hit the shin pad of Coburn, it took a big right turn and just caught Mason right between the pipe and his body. Richards, the former Conn Smythe Trophy winner, is the most valuable player in the Stanley Cup when Tampa won the championship.
And Vinny Lecavalier, of course, big part to that club and that run. 5th of the year for Richards. His 11th career goal against the Flyers. Richards now 41 points in 42 games in his career against the Flyers. So the Rangers get it back even. Final half minute of this first period. Pass to Talbot. Talbot on the left wing, Braden Shen. Shen, the shot, and the save made by Cam Talbot. No relation to Max. New play is stopped.
Right idea there for Braden Shen as we look at Brad Richards on the bench of the New York Rangers. Was talk of Richards being a possible buyout candidate at the end of last year. Was benched in the playoffs by John Tortorella. Spent the offseason getting himself back in game shape. I think he was hurt a lot by the lockout. He did a lot of work with the briefcase trying to get the deal done, and I don't think he was ready to get going in game shape when the season finally arrived. Good to see him back and going at full strength again.
There's Lecavalier, an angled try, but Ryan Talbot ready for that. Timonen keeps the puck in 16 seconds in the period. Well, the Rangers will move it up and out to center. In fact, all the way down. They say no icing, though. So Timonen will have to deal with Pouliot here. He did so. Gustafson pass. And that bounces back in the first period, runs its course. Flyers with 10 shots, Rangers with 9. Matt Reed put the Flyers on top with a shorthanded goal. Brad Richards got the Rangers back even. One that bounced off of Braden Coburn. Tonight's Flyers-Rangers first period was brought to you by Mazda. We believe if it's not worth driving, it's not worth building. And by Powerback Rehabilitation. Let's head downstairs. Steve Coates set to chat with Matt Reed.
Matt, you had a great success against this goaltender when he was playing for Alabama Huntsville. You were with Bemidji State. Did you know that or have any idea that he had a great success before?
I didn't know until I got an email before the game, and I read it and got some confidence a little bit, and came in. I was had a good feeling for tonight.
Let's talk about the goal, because you had to make a decision. You were either going to shoot it or you're going to come back with the late guy, Couturier. When did you make your mind up?
At the blue line, in my mind, I was giving it back to Coots. Just thought the D-man was closer to me, and then top of the circles, I didn't want to make a mistake. Just shoot it put a 5-hole and it doesn't go in, look for a rebound, and got lucky there.
Thanks very much, man.
Thank you.
Matt Reed, his first tally of the season. As we mentioned, his first ever against the Rangers as well. John Boric, Bill Clement supply their analysis as our coverage of Flyers hockey continues at Comcast Sportsnet after this. Wells Fargo Center is brought to you by your local Delaware Valley Audi dealers and legendary Audi Quattro all-wheel drive, the world's top-selling luxury all-wheel drive system. Also brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. That's at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. Minutes in the books. Here are the numbers courtesy of Sugar House Casino. Relatively even, Joe.
Yeah, pretty even. Flyers want to do a better job in the power play. Didn't generate a lot of scoring opportunities. A couple of new looks to their power plays, and they'll try to get some more offense from it this period.
Matt Reed, the shorthanded goal, got the scoring started unassisted. Then Brad Richards on a goal that deflected off of Braden Coburn. Moore and Kreider assisting. So the second period begins with these teams deadlocked at 1. Mark Stahl with the puck. Across to Girardi and then right back to Stahl off the stick of Kreider into the Philadelphia zone. Second period's been a bit of a bugaboo for the Rangers. They've given up 14 second period goals this year. And Stahl, a shot that's blocked aside. Grossman trying to get control, could not. Richards fires, why not? But that one stays in play, high off the glass. Matt Reed is there. He gets clipped. Nobody saw it. I can't believe. Well, Matt Reed is going to the bench, reaching for his face, but 4 sets of eyes did not see that. So play carries on. Couturier, the pass, bouncing puck, and now they're going to say that McGinn was in early, and so offside is the call.
Well, let's see. We have the opportunity with the instant replay to be able to see this stick. What? Comes right up off his own stick and catches him right in the mouth. And you can tell right there that he was definitely hit. And somehow, the two linesmen, you see Paul Dvorsky over there talking to Matt Reed right now. Now, what he's saying, I don't know.
Well, he saw the evidence, and he knows that he missed it. And so did the other guys on the ice. I don't know exactly where Devo was in reference to Matt Reed, but you got to think there was an official in the city that could have made that call, because it was pretty obvious from all the way up here.
It was missed, and good on Matt Reed to sit there and not get overly excited and try to take himself out of the game mentally with arguing with the referee. It's the right approach. Look at the next one.
Look at his point across. Actually, his appearance gets the point across.
Yes, it does.
There's Ryan McDonough to the puck for the Rangers. He'll move up 3-on-3 to the neutral zone. Pass to Jesper Fast. Ranger rookie gets the puck in. He takes Luke Schenn hard to the boards, and then time again battling for the puck. There's Pyatt in there as well. Pyatt tough to get off the puck. He still has it. He'll turn and fire one. The stick save made by Mason. Brassard wins the race for the puck. Tips to Fast. He's tied up by Streit. Puck free begin. Ranger defenseman over along the board. Girardi bounces free. And the shot, and Pouliot shot denied by Mason through traffic. Goes to the other side of the ice. Big hit on Pouliot by Luke Schenn. A.T. Miller worked on by Braden Schenn. Luke as well, but Brassard got it in front of Pouliot. He was checked just as he went to take the shot, and Braden Schenn clears. We got to call this icing unless Voracek does get the cancellation. The icing on the hybrid icing call there. Rangers still get the puck, however. Giroux getting in some trouble along the boards. Raffle in there as well. Strawman hammered down by Billy LeCavalier, who gets to the puck. Got it back out to Tiemann, who floats one, deflected, batted away by Talbot. Back around behind the net. Scramble for the puck. Miller ahead. Pouliot couldn't clear past Gustafsson. Raffle will jab it free, trying to get it to LeCavalier behind the net, but Rangers got in the way of that. Now it's Raffle. LeCavalier Spin it to the other side of the ice. Giroux and Brassard pursue. Giroux takes the hit to make the play. Back to Timonen. Timonen with the pass to Giroux. Right back to Timonen. One-timer off the post. It rang loud and clear. Now Brassard the other way. Brassard will just chip it into the Philadelphia zone.
Some good puck movement there and a lot of good body movement. LeCavier especially in on that forecheck, and then Giroux jumping in, protecting the puck well and setting up Timonen.
Flyers moving again through center, but Voracek couldn't catch up to that. Timonen has it back, and now Voracek. Voracek's shot or pass blocked off by Delzato. Watches for years Max Talbot. Talbot now behind the net. Cut off by Moore. Centered it in front. Voracek a poke at it, but it was denied. Now he's got it back. All the way across for Coburn. He'll wind and fire. It hit a body in front. Rebound. Oh, Hall had a crack at it, but it bounced away. And then Mashinter will clear the zone and Coburn back to get it for Philadelphia. Good pressure from the Flyers here as they try to make it sustained pressure. Voracek will tip the puck in. Talbot after it. It's Dominic Moore instead. To Delzato, and then up the other side of the ice to the neutral zone. Voracek will dump it right back in on Talbot. Just over 4 minutes into this second period. Good start to the period for the Flyers. It's 1-1 hockey game. Matches are dead even, as are the goals. Grossman ahead for Reed. Cross ice pass, and now Luke Schenn will bounce one. Played by McDonough, up the wall. Strike comes in, takes a quick shot, and that's blocked in front. McDonough got in the way of it. Kreider the outlet to step on, but he's checked by Reed. Flyers very aggressive in their checking. There's Kreider. Not necessarily mean aggressive in terms of physical. They're that too, but just getting their sticks in the passing and shooting lanes. Girardi couldn't keep that puck in the zone. He'll go back and get it. Across to McDonough. Long pass tipped by Reed, and it's onside. Reed centers. Couturier shot high and wide. Great play by Matt Reed. The steal, it got onside, did the play, and then the great setup. But Couturier missed the target. Now Reed. Luke Schenn, who can't get to that. There's McDonough in, but offside call. A player going off to the Ranger bench was deemed to be offside.
Lots of action, and it all started with Vinny LeCavier get on the ice and just started a battle in the offensive zone. Takes Strawman down there, does a nice job getting the puck from the corner back to the point for a scoring opportunity.
And Kimmo Timonen with his one-timer. Looking at the net, watch this, right through a maze of players. Talbot never saw it coming, and it rang right off that left post.
Wonder if LeCavier touched that one on the way, too. He was doing a nice job screening for Timonen, and both players doing a nice job trying to generate some offense.
And Matt Reed had another great shift. Cavallier's been relatively busy in his return. Missed 3 games with a lower body injury. Strawman will send the puck into the Philadelphia zone. Mason will play it ahead to LeCavalier, and he'll flip in the middle. Giroux could not knock that down. Mark Stahl has it back. The pass for Pyatt and into the Philadelphia zone. Mason waiting for it to get there. Finds Timonen. Timonen will move it ahead to Raffl. His pass on the money to Giroux. Oh, Giroux on the left wing. Feed from LeCavier across to Gustafsson. Gustafsson the shot. Saved by Talbot. Shakily so. Unscreened. He only got a piece of that. Now it's Pyatt. Looking back the other way. Pyatt to the corner. Tried to center. Hit the side of the net. Out in front. Raffl in good defensive position. Tipped it had numbers for the Flyers if they hurried. Oh, but Raffl had that pass. Dribble away from him. And now John Moore back the other way. Rangers nearly had too many men on the ice. Here's Pouliot moving in. And that shot blocked. And there will be a penalty. I'll tell you about it when we return.
The only goal for the Philadelphia Flyers is that puck is following him everywhere tonight. It looks like the old Matt Reed. Watch this on the penalty kill. He's going to go one-on-one. Now it's actually got Couturier with him at the sides right here. You see that 5-hole? And then here in the second period, watch that go right up the stick of Kreider and get him right in the mouth. And speaking of Matt Reed, let's take a look at our Geico quote of tonight's game and basically saying, listen, just play the game. React. Take the shot. Don't wait for it to be perfect. And on top of that, he likes to be and thinks to be the hardest working guy every night, and things will go his way in the long run.
Saw Brian Boyle sitting in the box. Flyers getting power play. Unsportsmanlike conduct to call on Boyle. Third power play of the game for the Flyers. Lorraine Stefano hoping Flyers can put some money in her pocket. Power play playoff participant is Giroux in the slot. LeCavier shot, and Talbot slides across it. It stays out.
Oh, what a great shot there by LeCavier. He was looking, and Talbot got the blocker up right at the last second.
Marks right over to get to it for Philadelphia. And he will start up. It's to Voracek. Gain the line with Cavalier spinning with it, but he lost control, and Girardi will clear. Sometimes it almost seems like the Flyers get on the power play and that puck just won't settle down on the sticks.
A couple of good entries, though, and that's a good sign for the Flyers. And the third one here, all of them started by Voracek.
Couturier, center point strike, and that puck wobble on him some. Now Couturier back across ice. Voracek in front, shot save! Made by Talbot. Schenn getting a piece of that perhaps, and Talbot able to keep it out. Mason with Gustafsson as the Flyers still have 45 seconds to work with on this man advantage. Another pass into the middle, but Schenn was well covered. Try again. Into a half minute on the man advantage right now. Schenn with the pass. Couturier could not hang on, and it's cleared by Mark Stahl. The Flyers able to get set up here the second half of this man advantage. Schenn, one last rush here with the power play. Ahead to Reed. Reed for Schenn, and then he'll shovel it deep into the zone. Reed after it, but it hopped past him, and it's cleared all the way down, and that'll just about do it for the man advantage. So the Flyers will be 0 for 3 in this game, and now 1 for their last 24 on the power play. Still a work in progress. There's Hall. Ronaldo. It's batted to the corner by Talbot. Hall gets back to it. Tried to go around behind the net to Talbot. That's Max Talbot, but it was knocked down by the Rangers. Ryan McDonagh starts it back. His pass knocked down by Ronaldo. He'll punch it into the zone and chase himself. Ronaldo to it. Got it free. It bounces toward the slot, but neither Hall or Talbot could come up with it. It's Brad Richards the other way. In across the line. Richards holds, takes the shot, and a save made by Mason. Richards firing every time he gets an opportunity in this game. Led the Rangers in shots coming in, and he is adding to that total for sure here tonight. Richards trying to center that one. It's blocked. He gets it back. Centers, blocked by Grossman. Now Grossman gains control for Philadelphia. And just clears the zone off Del Zotto down the ice. 9 minutes into this second period, still 1-1. John Moore will wind up, fake the shot, get some room, take the shot. Save made by Mason. Puck bouncing around and finally played by Luke Schenn, but after a teammate had done so with a high stick.
Well, you can reserve a suite for an upcoming Flyers game through November and choose a free suite to Saturday's college hockey face-off, the return of Disney on Ice this holiday season, or from one of 2 Phantoms games this February. Lock yours in now. Great way to watch a game. Maybe Bernie and Dorney will drop by to say hello. You never know.
You never know who will show up. Face off here just outside the Flyers line. The Rangers will drill that one in. Mason drops it off. Right ahead. Cavalier forced back by Mark Stahl. Now he'll stretch pass to Raffl. Well done. Now looking for Giroux, but it was out of his reach. And bounced to the corner. Raffl, you can understand a guy just in the infancy of his NHL career might be looking for Giroux and Lecavalier a lot. It's tough not to. There's a shot and the save. Mason rebound out in front. Stahl couldn't get to it. Pouliot now will send it through the slot area. Now Moore over to keep it in. Brassard who took that original shot, which seemed to give Mason some trouble. Miller all the way across to Moore. Moore part of the package, as is Brassard, that came from Columbus for Marion Gaborik last year. Here's JT Miller. Back out for Brassard. He could not hang on to that one. And it bounces to the neutral zone. Moore has it here. And that was easy entry as he got it to Dorsett. His shot is deflected out of play. Past the midpoint of regulation time, tied at 1.
Game, we're tied at 1. And let's take a look at our Independence Blue Cross fearless play of the game. This is what Matt Reed's about here tonight. Watch, he's going to take on Kreider again. Kreider 6'3", 225 pounds. Boy, does Reed go down, and at the same time, yeah, he got right back up and makes a play. Gets up on his knees, then makes a great pass into the middle. That is what hustle. He just said he wanted to be the hardest working guy every night. There's proof of it.
Yeah, many nights where that is the case. As I said, we said earlier, before he scored, next shot is batted away by Mason from Del Zotto. He has been a good player this season, even though he had nothing to show for it at all. His plus-minus numbers aren't that good this year, but not necessarily symbolic of the way he has played. Here he is again with the puck. He's the line, shuttles it deep. Simmons after it. Couldn't get there. Couturier. And will not step on down. Couturier turning with the puck. He goes back to the point. Grossman winds and fires, and that one deflected and went wide. Talbot was poised and ready for it. Now in front, here's Couturier, and he fired it wide from the doorstep. Now it's Reed. Back to Simmons. Simmons worked on by Stepan. Stepan got it away momentarily. Simmons gets it back, but lost it as he tried to get to the slot. Brad Richards the other way. That pass tipped by Simmons. It'll be Chris Kreider getting to it. Kreider shoves Coburn into the boards. Knocks Coburn down, but some help arrives in the form of Couturier. Go across ice. Reed drifting back with it. And now it's Simmons. 40 remaining in this second period. Rangers back to get it. Asheter, who formerly played with San Jose, also got 4 games in with the Rangers last year. There he is, number 40, in on the forecheck. Mason plays it around him. Now McDonough stumbles, and the Flyers get the Vikings. Voracek moving up. Voracek cutting on in, and a great play made by Girardi as he came back to sweep it away. And Girardi's been making plays like that for a long time for this Rangers team. Asheter now battling with Voracek. Voracek got it back to Luke Schenn for the shot. That one deflected a little wide. Now McGinn fighting with Dominic Moore for that puck. Schenn after it as well, but it's punched out to the neutral zone. Over goes Luke Schenn to retrieve. Voracek, who lost control, and Dominic Moore will spin it into the Philadelphia zone. It's straight back to get to it as the Rangers are trying to change. The Flyers will move it ahead. Luke Schenn, cross ice, right. Trying to get that puck deep, could not. Now it ends up over by the Philadelphia benches. They were trying to make a change. That's always dangerous. Play stopped. I believe an offside call. Well, tomorrow at 5, former Eagle Ike Reese gives you his prediction. The Eagles battle with the Giants, and who he thinks should be the starting quarterback. Philly Sports Talk presented by Classic Nissan tomorrow at 5 on Comcast Sportsnet. It's the quarterback every week, it seems.
It is, yeah. Sean Couturier was the quarterback on that last sequence. A couple of nice plays, just couldn't get the shot away from the slot area after a perfect feed from the corner.
Another of the Flyers looking for his first. Timonen sends it in. Adam Hall first to it. Quick shot! Save Talbot, but again, didn't get all of it, and he's starting to look a little more shaky here in the second period after I thought he was pretty solid in the first. And now Boyle to the puck. He'll blast, and that save made confidently by Mason with the glove.
Well, let's take a look at our Wells Fargo great check. And there's all different kinds of check. There's body checks, there's back check, and how about this, a poke check by Girardi as Voracek tried to go from backhand to forehand. Look at that stick, and Girardi's right at the last second knocks the puck off of the stick of Voracek, and that is our Wells Fargo great poke check of tonight's game.
Ed Girardi, now 29 years of age. He's led the NHL in block shots 2 of the last 3 years. He can block shots, and he can also take the puck away as he did right there with the best of them. Flyers move up here. Giroux, the right-hand feed. The right wing feed, I should say, to Lecavalier. He tried to get it in front, knocked down by Girardi. Ahead it goes to Brassard. Very even hockey game in terms of shots and goals thus far. 1-1, 6:40 to play in the second. Girardi, a shot deflected, but went wide. Strike, checked by Pouliot. Flyers try to help strike out. Giroux is in there, but the Rangers still after Pouliot. Around behind. Giroux will try this side, but McDonough's right there. Behind that, Giroux settled up on Brassard, knocked him off balance, and the Flyers able to move the puck ahead. There's Lecavalier, pass for Giroux. Checked, gets it back, finds Luke Schenn for the shot off the post. Rebound, Lecavalier. 2 times now, the Flyers have rung it loudly off the post behind Talbot. He's also had a couple of shots that have gone off of him and wide. Stepan sends one in. Mason sticks that away. I think if you're the Flyers now, you just want to get that puck on goal. The goaltender playing in his first game. A little shaky. Richards fires high and wide. Delzato back at the point. Around behind. Richards has it. Centers it. Kreider's right there. Turns it. Fires it. Wide of the net. Had a lot of time. Now here's Delzato. Behind the net. Coburn trying to type Richards. Could not. He still centered it. but it slides on out to the neutral zone. Flyers trying to regroup here. Mason will move it to Reed. And Reed takes a look. Try to go across ice. He gets steamrolled by Kreider. Bounces off of Coburn to the neutral zone. Moore ahead. Mashinter will move it deep. Big forward after it. Gets to it to Dominic Moore. To Delzato. Delzato. Stutter step move on Simmons. Gets around him and the shot goes wide. All the way out to Moore. Mashinter back to Moore, and now it is Delzato with a shot. Save Mason. Rebound Luke Schenn to it. Flyers having some trouble getting the puck out here. Schenn played it up into traffic. It does skip into the Rangers bench. Flyers will take that whistle, and we get some Rangers Flyers animosity. Dorsett's in the middle of it. Couturier was upset. Simmons and Mashinter also upset. Let's see if this develops into anything serious. Some gloves are on the ice, and now Simmons has dropped his gloves with Mashinter, and they will fight. Simmons gets a right, as does Mashinter. Trying to hold each other at arm's length. Oh, there's a right from Mashinter. Simmons goes down, he gets back up. Linesman let him go. Simmons' jersey coming up now. He gets it back down as his helmet is popped off. And now he pops Mashinter's helmet off him, tries an uppercut. Oh, another uppercut from Simmons. He had a body blow there. Now over the top. And now the linesman decides to get in there. And now we got some more stuff going on. And Coburn moves over. Couturier. They're all over a Ranger. That Dorsett would be a guess, because he does seem to be in the middle of things.
That's him. He's got to be the guy. That's the guy.
Now this is more like it. This is Rangers Flyers, right?
It's been a while, right? Both teams looking to get excited about something. It's nice to see the gloves come off and the boys start to get in it. Dorsett right in the middle of it, and Coburn was quick to come over to help out Couturier. A nice fight from Simmons, and we got a lively Wells Fargo Center.
Yeah, they kind of like that stuff around here. We'll be back.
Don Couturier, is he and Dorsett that's going to start this all coming off the post. Watch this. Pushing and shoving, a little stick work going on. And then they're going to keep going, and they're all going to head back to the blue line right here. And this is when all hell breaks loose. As Couturier and Dorsett will push, then Madger comes in, and Mashinter right here is going to be confronted by Simmons. And after that, Jonesy, I thought Simmons did a heck of a job.
He did. He didn't get the jump right away, as both players looked like they wanted to get engaged in a timely manner. And then once the fight started, this was the interesting part. When Simmons knocks the helmet off after taking that punch, losing his helmet, and then had a real good technique here to pop the lid right off there and then throw a bunch of uppercuts. Outstanding job by Wayne Simmons, and the fans got fired up here.
Massinter actually had him right at the beginning with that sweater over his head before he knocked the helmet off, and it was exactly opposite, as Simmons is the one that got that sweater over Massinter's head.
5 each on Simmons and Mashinter for fighting. A 10-minute misconduct on Dorsett. There's a shot by Pyatt. Save made, rebound out to Girardi. His shot blocked by McGinn. Around behind the net is Pyatt. Pyatt's pass. Boyle could not get the shot through Braden Schenn. His outlet is on the tape to Voracek. Jake Voracek up the right wing. Stutter step moving, then across ice. Boyle read that one. And now a counter rush. 4-on-3 for the Rangers. Boyle will just pump the puck into the Philadelphia zone. Good forward taken to the wall by Gustafsson. Voracek trying to fish the puck out of there. Goes back through Strawman and out to the neutral zone. 4 minutes remaining in this second period. It's a 1-1 game. Here comes McDonough. He'll take the shot. Save Mason. Rebound! He got a piece of that try by Kreider. And then McDonough and Kreider collided. And McDonough's not getting up. Here's Giroux in the middle. The pass to LeCavalier. LeCavalier shifts, turns with it, and then his pass back to Coburn. Coburn's shot blocked. Second try. LeCavalier at the side of the net, tipped it wide. McDonough now finally making his way to the Ranger benches. He got the worst of that collision with Kreider. And play carries on. Here's LeCavalier. Pass is tipped back into the Philadelphia zone. And Coburn will go back for it. Side there, top three. Team Miller fighting off a check. Centers. Shot. Pouliot. Glove. Save. Mason. Right-handed robbery right there. And no further play.
Well, let's take a look at the Rangers' chance before that last save there by Mason. Watch. Right in close. Now watch Mason's right back. That puck comes right back out. And right here is the rebound. And then Jonesy. Oh.
Kreider and McDonough run into each other there. And then another great save on Pouliot there. A nice glove save there. Mason does the splits and is able to hold on to that one. There's McDonough on the bench shaking up. Kreider 6'3", 230 pounds. That's a big body to run over you.
A big guy that ran into Reed earlier on a couple of occasions. But Paul Dvorsky did a great job. When McDonough went down, because the Flyers had possession, he kept an eye on that puck, and because they had possession, he didn't have to blow it down.
Matt Reed tipping the puck across. Oh! Max Talbot goes head first into the boards. He's shaken up, and we'll get certainly some retaliation from the Flyers here. Talbot in need of help. Jim McCrossin out on the ice. That did not look good at all, and how many times do we have to see this? Keith Jones.
My God, this is one of the worst. That is one of the worst. And the result is awful. What a shame, as Talbot was losing the balance. Talbot does a good job of trying to keep his head up as he went in there, but this is awful. He catches it right on the edge of the boards. It's the worst possible place. Even the Rangers bench was up trying to help him. See Pouliot bump him there. It's not a vicious play by Pouliot, but it's the end result that is awful. Here's the play as both players are battling. Talbot initiates some of the contact, and then Pouliot hits him from behind there, and you can see what happens. That's why hitting from behind is something we don't need.
You got to just ride him on.
Penalties on the play. 5 minutes for boarding, and a game is gone.
So it's the 10th injury. But when you take a look at that play again, and that happened right to my right of me, and that just made me cringe because he hit with such a force, guys. It was scary right off the bat that you knew that he was not going to be well coming off that. But let's take a look as Alan Vigneault looks on. This is a big opportunity, but you know what? You just hope that Talbot's okay. Let's take another look at it. Watch Talbot get a little shoved there by Pouliot. That's the first misdeed. You can't knock a guy like that, and then he finished him off. What you got to do is grab him and hold him up. He didn't do that. What he did is he gave him a little shove 3 feet, 4 feet away from the boards.
And the Flyers now with 5 minutes of power play time to work with. We'll try to obviously get a report on Max Talbot. The Flyers, that's the way at this point that they can make the Rangers pay by scoring as many times as they want in this major. Here's Lecavallier's shot blocked. McDonough got in the way of it. Of course, the Rangers under John Tortorella became known as the best shot blockers around. Might be a little bit of a different style now with Alain Vigneault as their coach, but they're still blocking their share of shots in this one. Flyers have it back. Strike to Voracek. On the goal line, the Lecavalier center, but it was blocked aside. He gets it back. Gets the strike. He'll take the shot. And that one blocked as Girardi again cut front. Girardi might be feeling that one a little bit. He's hunched over in front. And now here is straight across. Giroux. Looking in at the side of the net. Back to strike. Lecavalier and the one-timer blocked off by Stepan. Again behind the net is checked, and McDonough able to steer the puck to Stepan, and he'll clear.
Flyers getting opportunities to shoot the puck. Rangers doing a very good job of blocking. McDonough with 2 block shots there, and Stepan with a nice job keeping his stick in the shooting lane on that last opportunity.
Matt Reed, a pass on the tape to Couturier. Right wing dish, Shen. Now it's Timonen. For Shen, set up. Shen will go all the way across, but it hops over Gustafson's stick. Got it now. Let's drop it back to Timonen. Across, Shen shot deflected and blocked aside by Stahl. And then Braden Shen's pass off the mark. And then the Rangers able to move it ahead. There's Dominic Moore. Takes a look as Gustafsson comes over, and he was thinking about getting that to Foss, but it was knocked aside. Gustafsson has it back. You can hear Steve Mason telling him a minute remaining in the period. And now Lou Nolan tells us as well. Timonen winds it deep into the Rangers zone. Donna after it, but instead it's Boyle, and Boyle will bounce one down the ice. Huge opportunity here for the Flyers. They try to break this tie. Power play has been struggling. Strike navigates his way across the line. To Lecavalier and then around the board. Pursue and win these battles now. In Pride. Knocks it down again and does get it back to the point to strike. Lines it, fires, deflection, save, rebound! Talbot had no idea where it was, but the Rangers take it out of harm's way. Now McGinn trying to get it to Lecavalier, intercepted and cleared by Pyatt.
It's a heads-up play by Mark Streit. Giroux heading to the net. Got a tip on the puck, but couldn't find the rebound around the feet of Talbot.
Talbot couldn't find it either. Just sat there for a moment. Now Voracek, cross ice, and the one-timer fan down by Giroux. 2 seconds, one, and Giroux a check in frustration, and now he gets mugged by two Rangers, Dominic Moore and Girardi, and the Flyers will be very quick to respond there. So the second period, clearly more like Flyers Rangers. A lot of animosity out there, but no scoring in this second period, as this one remains a 1-1 hockey game through now 40 minutes of play. Tonight's Flyers Rangers second period was brought to you by Kia. To learn more, visit kia.com. The Pennsylvania Lottery as well. Play today. Pennsylvania Lottery proceeds benefit older Pennsylvanians. Players must be 18 years or older. John Boric and Bill Clement are back to analyze a Wild and Woolly second period. No scoring, but a lot of action. They'll tell you about it after these messages. And Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you by your Philadelphia Super Network Buick GMC dealers. By McDonald's. Now at McDonald's, any size premium roast coffee is just $1. McDonald's, I'm loving it. And by the Pennsylvania Lottery. This Saturday's Powerball jackpot now has an estimated annuity of $40 million. So play today. Pennsylvania Lottery proceeds benefit older Pennsylvanians. Players must be 18 years or older. Through two periods, here are the statistics, courtesy of Sugar House Casino.
Yeah, the Rangers with the shot on goal advantage by 3. The power play for the Flyers has been the big issue. 0 for 4. They've had opportunities. They start the third period on the power play. Still 2 minutes left on the Pouliot 5-minute major. And the captain, Claude Giroux, will try to get something done here offensively with the 2 minutes the Flyers have to deal with on this power play opportunity.
Greg Berube getting his club ready, and big period for both of these teams. They're both very hungry for a victory. Our DMC NHL update brings you to that matchup between the Sharks and the Bruins. Sharks without a regulation loss, but Jerome Iginla on the board for the Bruins. His first with the Bees, giving them the lead in that game as the Bruins try to hand the Sharks their first loss in regulation.
San Jose just tied it up too, so it's a 1-1 game now in the third period. Two very
You're
solid
always one step
teams.
ahead of me, Jones.
Yes.
You do know how to check those scores out. That is
I do. I've got the computer right beside.
That helps. That helps. All right, we get set for the start of this third period. Max Talbot has not come out with the Flyers for taking that hit, which I think we all agree was a careless hit more than it was a vicious hit by Pouliot, who did get the game misconduct in the major, but he did not finish off Max. It was more of a hit in an awkward position, and Max went in heavily.
Just about the worst place on the ice.
Yes.
I like the call on the ice, a 5-minute major. And of course, the league will look at it, but I'm not sure that there's going to be games to follow as far as the suspension goes for Pouliot.
Flyers still have 1:45 remaining on the power play time from that penalty. Try to take the lead here early in the third. McGinn, Voracek, Lecavalier, and 3 Rangers all battling for this loose puck. It comes free to McDonough, and he knows the point had been vacated, so he just spins it up the wall and down the ice. Mason will set it up for Claude Giroux. Giroux starts the Flyers up. Goes to strike. Voracek couldn't hang on to the pass. Flyers, they say, are onside. Lecavalier runs off Strawman. Giroux gets the puck back to strike. They play catch. Giroux takes a look to the net. Nothing there for the moment. Back out. Strike shot blocked. Gets it back. Goes to Giroux, and now Streit again. How about the shot goes cross-side? Big shot and a save made by Talbot on the Cavalier. That was played by Voracek, but he turned it over, and Jesper Fast able to clear all the way down.
Cavier was in his office there. He scored a lot of goals from that position. Left-hand shot high in that circle area right between the dot and the top of the circle. He got all of that one.
40 seconds left on the major. Streit good to center, the right wing feed to Couturier. Couturier right back to Streit with room. He'll go across to Timonen. Back to Streit. Wine fires wide. Bounces out. Reed had his stick tied up. Streit keeps it in. Couturier back to Streit. And now it's Timonen. Holding on. Right back out to Streit. Now across. Couturier the shot off the outside of the net. Brayden Schenn back to Couturier. And now it's Streit. 10 seconds left in the power play. Timonen looking in the middle. Holds on, slides it through, shot, Brayden Schenn, save made, Talbot, rebound, Reed trying to go cross crease or cross slide at least to Couturier, intercepted and cleared, the power play is over.
What a pass by Kimmo Timonen right into the wheelhouse. Brayden Schenn snapped it quickly, Talbot there to make the save.
So Cam Talbot getting to start his first NHL start, able to come up with some stops there on that penalty kill to help keep this game tied. Henrik Lundqvist had started in the last 14 games between these two teams. Marty Biron, who has recently retired in the NHL, made that last start against them a couple of years ago. There's a point shot up high and goes into the safety netting. And we'll have a face-off in the Philadelphia zone.
Let's take a look at that chance for Brayden Schenn. He scored a power play goal earlier this season against the Maple Leafs from a similar spot. It's Timonen though, a nice little pass right there. And Schenn fires it quickly, and Talbot's there to stop it.
And Talbot showing a lot of composure. He just came out that pipe very, very quietly. Didn't overplay it. Got himself between right there. He just laid right off that pipe and made a nice save. And there wasn't a lot of commotion.
Well, a good play by the Flyers, but the save made by Talbot, who his idol was Patrick Waugh growing up. The fact that Patrick was very competitive, and they say that Cam Talbot is much the same in terms of being competitive on every shot. Raffle to the slot, a shot that deflects off of John Moore's stick and goes high and wide. Flyers get it back. Gustafsson a shot, rattles around in the slot, and Raffle a shot, and Talbot the save, and he's able to hang on.
Really quick stick there from Raffle as he finds that puck loose in front of the net and fires it. Talbot somehow managed to close the legs and keep that one out. Here's the point shot right here from Gustafsson. It gets first deflected by Raffle, then he finds it. Talbot comes up with another good save.
Once again, he doesn't make a lot of moves. When he's just looking, he didn't even see the puck. It was a matter of just being in the right spot at the right time. Assuming where that puck was, and Raffle with a great opportunity on the rebound. And I love his instincts to be able to stay with that. A lot of guys will skate right by it.
Flyers battling for the puck here. Grossman on behind. Reed tips. Simmons tracks it down. Now it bounces back out to center the other way. It's Kreider moving up. Shot wide of the target. All the way back out towards Stroman before it gets there. Richards battling for it. And the bounce free. Nick Grossman back to get it for Philadelphia. It's Coburn and now Reed, but he has to deal with the pinching Stroman. Does nudge it past him to Couturier. Couturier back to Reed. Gains the line and then drops it back to Grossman for the shot. Blocked. Sits in the slot. Reed gets it back again. Tips it to Coburn for the shot. Score! Simmons was in front as Coburn wound up and blasted. And the Flyers back on top 2-1 as they score for a case of Tasty Cake.
And no surprise that Matt Reed's involved in this one as well. He finds that puck in the slot area and manages to get the puck back to Braden Coburn and makes a real difficult shot look easy. Right here he blasts away, and look at the screen by Wayne Simmons in front. A nice job all around by those three.
No chance for Talbot. Simmons, watch him jump right here, right at the last second. Now, I have no idea how he picked up that puck coming so quickly. Look, and right there, you can see Talbot's got no chance to see that puck. What a play by Simmons.
So Braden Coburn, if that did not touch Simmons, I don't believe it did.
No.
Coburn has his second of the year. Here's Foss moving back for a shot that goes wide. And we got a penalty upcoming. A delayed call against Philadelphia. And finally the whistle. I thought that Cavalier had already played the puck. They do finally blow it dead. Hooking the call from Dan O'Rourke.
Claude Giroux's going to get the call. It was away from the play as they Play came back towards the Flyers zone.
So the Rangers an immediate opportunity to tie this game back up as they go to the man advantage.
Let's take a look and see what Claude Giroux was ticketed for the box for right there. John Moore, a great skater, and Giroux just gets that stick into the midsection, and the Rangers head to the power play after the Flyers got a ton of momentum with this great shot from Braden Coburn through a lot of traffic and gets underneath the pads of Talbot to the back of the net.
Ooh, I thought that was a little bit of a weak call in a hockey game like this. I don't think that stick was there very, very long to be able to call for that.
But the Rangers nonetheless get the man advantage and a chance to tie this thing back up at 2. Delzato across to Richards. And Richards bank it back out. Delzato will go across ice. The shot blocked. Stepan unable to get that one through. It's a race for the puck now, and Delzato will beat Hall to it. Michael Delzato, who missed one game with the flu for the Rangers, then was scratched. He's a healthy non-player in the last game. We're back in the lineup here tonight with Justin Falk taking a seat for the Rangers. Good job by the Flyers stopping the Rangers at the line. Max Talbot is out there. Look at that. Max Talbot on the penalty kill. I believe it's his first shift of the period.
That is
great. That is unbelievable.
Did not think we would see that. That is for sure. And as you say, great news. Here's Richards to the puck. Drops it back. Delzato could not keep it in the zone. Halfway through the Ranger power play.
Well, he's all taped up on the nose. That's where the visor probably got him when he went head first into the boards.
Rangers misfire on that pass, so this is icing. Face-off will go all the way back down into the New York zone. There is Max. An advantage that Coatsy was talking about.
That's just outstanding that he's back. And after this injury that just looked horrific and sounded horrific, I can't believe that he's back here in the third period, but he does a great job getting his head up before he went into the boards there. So they're teaching all the youngsters that are playing the game, and that saved Max Talbot there. Really good decision on his part.
You're right about the sound. I didn't realize it until we just played it back with the full sound, how loud it was. Coach, you probably had a good idea about that.
Unbelievable, Jimmy, when he hit. And I am just in disbelief that he is back, and I got to give him all the credit in the world. What a performance to get back into this hockey game after that hit.
27 seconds remaining on the Ranger power play. John Moore, fleet-footed defenseman. Right wing feed from McDonough. He's able to get through the check of Talbot. The puck bouncing free. Back out. Boyle shot. Stick save. Rebound. They score. It bounced in. And a power play goal for the Rangers as J.T. Miller went to the net and got it past Mason. This game is tied at 2. Miller ending a 27-game goalless drought.
Referees having a conversation about how that puck got into the net. We'll have to see if it was a distinct kicking motion or not. It goes off the leg of Miller as it's poked right there by Mason, and this is going to be close.
Interesting.
This is going to be close. They're going to have to take a good long look at this. There's the foot.
Oh.
To me, it's a kicking motion.
It is. I agree with you, Jonesy, because he understood what he was doing. He was bringing that skate forward. He knew that the puck was there. And as a result, he'll draw the puck towards the net. Right here. Look at that.
And here, well,
Plays under review.
plays under review.
Seeing if the puck was kicked in.
All right. So they're telling us why they're reviewing it, which is nice. And I'm not sure that he was trying to kick it in the net. He might have been trying to kick it up to his stick, whatever. But he definitely does move the skate forward. I'm not sure if the skate is right off the ice. Sometimes they look at that, but there's a kicking motion there. This will be an interesting call.
Yeah, the indicator is normally if the foot comes off the ice there. And that will be what they'll try to determine. That is usually the number one indicator if it is, in fact, a kick. As you see Boyle get it to the net, and it goes right to Miller there. That angle there
Doesn't
is
look
not
as
as
much of a kick.
convincing as the first angle that I saw. Here's the one off that foot as he moves it forward. This is going to be a tough one. The call on the ice was a goal, so it has to be conclusive to overturn it.
While Dan O'Rourke and Paul Dvorsky, the two referees, went back to the penalty box area to discuss it. They were discussing whether they thought it was a kicking motion, as Dvorsky's still on the phone right now back to Toronto in the war room.
That look there is the one that tells me kicking motion when I see that look. But the couple from the side and one from behind did not look as convincing to me.
One of the telltale signs is the fact that Miller himself immediately looked to the referee. He didn't look and start celebrating. He raised his arm sort of half-heartedly up and looked to the referee to see if it would count. So he had some doubt. Here we go. We get the call.
After further review, the puck was kicked in. We have.
And the Flyers stay on top. Miller denied.
Take one more look at it. And this is the one. This is the angle that looked like the kick. Right there.
And he's drawing the puck towards the net. He knows that the puck is there. It's not a matter of just, maybe having it hit his skate. He had the motion. He drew that puck towards the net with his right skate. Good call.
Well, it's certainly good for the Flyers, not so good for that man and his team as they are still down 2-1. 16 seconds remain on the Giroux penalty. Miller denied a goal that would have broken a long goal-scoring drought for him. Remember, he scored 2 goals in his first game at home for the Rangers at Madison Square Garden. He hasn't scored since.
He didn't look that surprised that it was overturned.
No. Well, again, when he first scored, he looked right to the referee instead of celebrating. So the Flyers still on top. 14-15 to play here in the third. Stepan giving some room in the corner. Makes it back to Strawman. Across. Mark Stahl shot. Save. Mason through heavy traffic and no further play as Giroux escapes the penalty bench.
Another key save for Mason there with a bunch of bodies in front of him. A couple guys in the red, white, and blue, and a couple orange bodies as well. But a nice job by Mason again.
Here comes the big shot from the point. Look at the traffic. Good screen there by Kreider. Josie had mentioned that guy is 6'3", 225 pounds. But Mason held his ground, down there, butterfly, looked for that puck, searched it out, and made the save.
22 shots apiece for these teams. Back to even strength hockey. Once we get the puck drops. And it bounces around. It's Collier spinning it up the wall, but Brian Boyle was right there. Back around behind with Sarge. Maneuvering to get to that puck. Back to the point. Strawman is shot off of Raffl to the corner. Boyle. Now they working in front for Sarge. Shot blocked. Ranger tumbles to the ice. That was Miller. And the Flyers clear, but all the way down it goes. So this will be icing.
Well, you can make plans now to see Penn State University and the University of Vermont compete at the Wells Fargo Center this Saturday at 5 o'clock. There's still time to get your seats by going online to ComcastTix.com. Some great seats available for some outstanding Division I college hockey.
No teaming into the puck for Philadelphia. It's it back for Gustafsson. That one out of the reach of LeCavalier. It's a turnover. On more to Stepan. Stepan who missed all of training camp in a contract dispute. Trying to deal, but hasn't really gotten into a rhythm as yet either. Del Zotto loves that shot, breaks his stick. Flyers have the puck. Raffl checked and now diving, couldn't get it out of the zone. Kreider to Stepan. He's knocked down from behind by LeCavalier. Puck still in the zone though, as Kreider will dump it deep. Now Brad Richards trying to center, blocked off by Mason. Stepan gets to it. Back to the point, Del Zotto. He says an uneasy feeling about it right here. This foray by the Rangers. Del Zotto shot and a save made by Mason through his screen. Ahead for Raffl, having trouble handling that. Del Zotto will rifle it back in, but the Flyers will get some relief here as the Rangers peel back on the chain.
Raffl's a rookie. He's going to have to learn to be able to keep that puck to the outside. He's had a couple of occasions of moving that puck in the wrong direction in his own zone.
Puck ahead here for Fox. Stopped by Schenn. His pass tipped away by McDonough. Taylor Pyatt will maneuver it back through the neutral zone. Mark Streit back to break up the play in his 500th National Hockey League game. Moves it ahead to Voracek, who dumps it into the Rangers zone. McDonough got it past McGinn to Fox. Now ahead, Pyatt for Dominic Moore. Chips, and the Rangers chase. Fox and Streit. Here, the puck in their feet. Mason, the local goaltender. Got some play-by-play down there.
Smart communication, so important.
Absolutely.
Right?
But he's good at getting the time to his teammates as well as where the puck is. They don't see it. McDonough. Head for Boyle. Big center iceman moves the puck deep into the Philadelphia zone. Grossman bumped by Miller. Miller stays after it. Grossman wraps him up. Now Boyle and Coburn pick up the battle, and it bounces free to Couturier. John Couturier gets the legs moving through center, and then sends it diagonally in, hoping for Simmons. He and Delzato after it. And it's Simmons who comes away with the puck, but he's then checked by Boyle. And the puck ricocheting around, and it goes to the neutral zone. Coburn decides to play it back there. That's for Grossman, and then right back to Coburn. Approach the 9-minute mark of this third period. Not surprisingly, goals at a premium in this game. Here's Coburn moving up. From the red line, he'll flutter that one up into the crowd. We'll step aside. Braden Coburn, his second tally of the season through the screen of Simmons as the Flyers on top in the third.
Flyers lead the New York Rangers, and you can see the time left on the clock. Steve Mason, our Hyundai save of the game came in the second period. Watch the response right there as Pouliot is going to take the shot from the sharp angle, and whoa! Actually, a little bit more towards the hash mark. Not that sharp an angle, but what a save by Mason as he got that glove up so quickly. I mean, you just flashed that glove, and that's why it's our Hyundai save of the game.
Steve Mason, only one win to show for this year, 1-5. We all know. Anyone who's seen the Flyers play, he has been much better than that record would indicate. Deserves a win here tonight. We'll see if he gets it. Rangers control. They'll move it ahead. Grossman going back to get this puck. He is checked but has support. Couturier ahead. Reed could not clear. Stepped in, then kicked ahead by Grossman to Simmons. I mean, Simmons now will lob one. Strawman will knock that one down. Play with his stick. Head for Kreider and back to Mark Stahl. Of course, playing with the visor, took that puck to the eye against the Flyers last year, missed some time, had some vision issues, but they're saying he's really best shape that way that he's been in quite some time. -8 coming into this game. Most people say he's played okay. Grossman a blocked shot there. Brad Richards chopping at the puck. Couturier and he come together. Couturier kicks at it. Stepan will fire it across ice, but it'll make its way to the neutral zone, and Strawman has it there. We tick to the midpoint of this third period. Coburn knocking that puck down, but his pass tipped by Giroux, gathered by Dominic Moore. Moore off to Richards for a shot that went wide. Out to Girardi. Around behind the net, Dominic Moore. Moore twisting and turning, trying to center. Giroux blocked it. Giroux comes together with Dominic Moore. Hyatt after the puck. Giroux and Hyatt now battling. Dorsett's in there as he has served out his penalty. The puck back out. McDonough shot! And that one ricocheted off of skate in front. Now Dominic Moore sends it out in front. And Giroux just says, let's get this puck out of here. And he clears it all the way down. And they're going to call it icing.
Let's take a look at our Toyota turning point of tonight's game, and it's going to come here in the third period. Watch as Matt Reed does a great job of being able to hold on to that puck inside the zone. Then Braden Coburn in full flight hits the blue line, lets it go. Wayne Simmons does a huge jump right in front of him. Talbot does a great job of screening him, and Coburn right now holding on to the lead goal.
Greg Berube has called timeout after that icing call. He realized he had some players who need a rest.
Yeah, and he's telling them right now, let's play it in the other end. Let's not sit back and try to hold on to this one-goal lead. It has not worked for the Flyers very much this season, and Greg Berube has to be happy with the way Matt Reed played in this game against Alain Vigneault and the New York Rangers. He came out flying, shorthanded goal to start the scoring for Philadelphia. Terrific heads-up play here, finding the 5-hole on Talbot. Outstanding bad luck here as Kreider clips him in the face, but he jumps right back and knocks Kreider down, himself down, makes a beautiful backhand pass to Couturier, and then picks up another assist here on Braden Coburn's goal. Reed all over the place tonight.
That puck's followed him everywhere. We've had him in hits, we've had him getting hit, we've had him drawing penalties. You saw the assist, you saw the goal. Man, he's done it all.
Puck goes out to center ice off the face-off so the Flyers can get their change. Now Strawman to Stahl. Back to Strawman, who gains the Philadelphia line but lost the puck shortly thereafter, and Voracek clears the zone. Stahl forced back by Schenn, but then ahead to Boyle, who tips to Miller. Miller got a shot off but wide. Boyle down behind the net. Instead it's taken back by Brassard before it got there to Strawman. And in deep, again, the Rangers trying to set up camp in the Philadelphia zone, but Zach Rinaldo had other ideas, and he was able to finesse that pass Strawman. Stahl will drift all the way back, forced there by Voracek. Now he's got a couple flyers to do with his passes in the skates of Strawman, and he had Ronaldo dropping away at his skates. Got it to center, and Luke Schenn just pumps it right back in.
Flyers playing that 1-2-2. So Ronaldo really timed it perfectly to support going in there as a second man.
Delzato to the puck for the Rangers. Step on. Now the long pass to the Philadelphia line. Brad Richards could not control it. And Strike will just chip it back through the neutral zone. Step on back to retrieve. And while Craig Berube was exhorting the troops to try to play more down in the Rangers zone, you can understand when you've only had one win through 8 games that human nature is almost to try to hang on.
And it's usually that type of human nature that costs you wins.
Yep.
So they got to get that killer instinct.
Yep.
They've worked extremely hard in the last week of practice, and this is where you want it to pay off.
You got to get past that. So much of it is psychological. That puck goes over the glass and into the seats. So we will step aside with the Flyers still leading the Rangers 2-1. Thank you very much, Ron. Braden Coburn's goal is the difference right now in this game. The Rangers on step 8 of a team record tying 9-game road trip. The longest ever start this season, but it ties their longest road trip ever. They'll play in Detroit on Saturday to wrap it up before they finally play at Madison Square Garden. Transformation going on there, so they were on the road. They were also on the road for much of training camp, though, so they have really been spending a lot of time in airplanes and hotels. You got to think that's contributed to their 2-5 start.
No doubt, without 3 of their star players tonight. So injuries have mounted, and having Lundqvist out of the mix certainly makes the challenge tough. But Talbot has stepped in and done a nice job.
Flyers, of course, they don't care about the Rangers' problems. They have enough of their own. They need 2 points out of this game. It's been a while for the Flyers in terms of shots on goal, but they got a 2-on-1 here. Voracek to Schenn. The shot! Talbot slides across and says no. Cam Talbot comes up big to keep his team within 1.
What an outstanding save. You can see the reaction from Braden Schenn. He thought he had a goal here. Voracek, outstanding pass right in the wheelhouse, a perfectly executed play, and an outstanding save to keep it out of the net.
Well, they backed McDonough off, so that allowed Voracek to make that great pass right over to Schenn. Now Schenn's facing the play. Look at this. So he's the opportunity to be able to take that one-timer. Look at that. A great anticipation by Talbot. Any kind of loft on that puck, though, it's in the net.
7 minutes to go. Flyers with the advantage in chances. Up along with a 5-minute major power play. And more power play time in general than the Rangers in this game. Strawman back. A pass ahead. Step on for Richards. Backhands in on Mason, and he thought about playing the puck but decides to cover up.
Good decision by Steve Mason there. The all-for-one deal is available now for Tuesday's game against the Anaheim Ducks and for all November home games. Get a ticket to the game plus food and drinks in Alexis Club starting at just $85. Reserve yours now by calling 215-218-PUCK.
Flyers on Long Island Saturday night. And a couple more days off before back here at the Wells Fargo Center Tuesday. Anaheim comes to town. He's moving the puck ahead. It goes down the ice. No icing here in on Talbot. He's going to have to cover up as Raffle is heading toward the net. We were mentioning the long and winding road for Lane Vigneault's club. Let's look at it. It hasn't gone well. I mean, there's some big losses in there. 9-2 to San Jose, 6-0 to Anaheim. They've been outscored, including this game, 31-12 on the trip. That's covering just about the entire country right there.
Yeah, and look at the teams at the top. I mean, they're the best of the Western Conference, which has been absolutely dominant against the East. No easy task for the Rangers to start this year.
Rangers moving up here, though, with numbers. Pyatt centering, goes off of Mason's stick all the way across. Now the Flyers a chance on the counterattack. Raffle punches it ahead to Lecavalier. Lecavalier waiting, and then just threw it to the middle, and Dominic Moore was right there. Dominic Moore, a solid player defensively. He gets back and knows where to go. Turnover, though, and Raffle couldn't quite control that puck to get a shot off. Dunn ahead. Fast will play it in. Mason stops it. Turns the puck aside. Flyers will look to move up. Gustafsson to Timonen. Timonen did not get the red line, but the shot goes in on goal. So the save made, play stopped, and we will return. Tonight's Flyers-Rangers game was brought to you by Toyota. See where Toyota takes you. Test drive one at your Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places. By Bud Light, it's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go. And by Wells Fargo. When you're considering buying your first home, Wells Fargo is with you. Wells Fargo, together we go far. 5:33 remaining in the third. The Flyers have a 1-goal lead. They'll try to snap a 4-game losing streak with their second win of the season. Off the face-off, Rangers able to control, but they turn it over. Simmons with a steal. Looking for Reed. He's tied up by Stepan. Stays after it, though, and chips it through to Simmons. Simmons will track it down in the corner. Center for Couturier off his skate. And now it's Kreider moving it ahead for Brad Richards. Richards holds on, fires, blocked. Second try, blocked again. Grossman got in the way at 2. It's poked out to center. And it's got to by John Moore. Moore's pass all the way down. This will set that one up. 5 minutes remaining. Braden Coburn fires that one all the way down wide of the net, and so it's icing. Steve Mason, 24 saves, and some of them have been high quality.
They have. He's really handled the puck well in this game, too. He's helped out his defenseman, rebound control as he kicks that one to the side, onto that one with traffic in front. There he's got some help from Claude Giroux. More help in the middle of that one, poking off his stick there, and a nice save as well. So a lot of good stuff from Steve Mason tonight.
With the feeling he might have to make 1 or 2 more key saves.
Yes.
Rangers are certainly going to try to force him to do just that. He's made the 24 saves, and you can see that the Flyers have been busy blocking shots here in the third in front of him. That puck's going all the way down, and another icing call.
At that point, I really don't care about the icings, Jimmy. At this time, you don't want to take any chances. If you feel you got to do that, you're going to have the opportunity to be able to regroup on this face-off.
The Rangers get the opportunity to get their top line out of the ice, so big disadvantage in that regard when you do have to ice the puck. But it's better to be strong on that wall and get it out and deal with the face-off.
Well, the Rangers win that face-off, but Stroman's shot is blocked. It's a race for the puck. Max Talbot is after it. Talbot will get to it. Send it down goal, and the save made by Cam Talbot. And out it goes to Brad Richards. Stepan will steer it into the Philadelphia zone. Mason quickly up the wall. Quick decision there, and Max Talbot able to move it to Braden Shen. He fires it across ice.
Rangers tried an outlet and actually hit Stroman. He was really hurting going off the ice.
Coburn, Braden Shen. To the head to Max Talbot, takes another heavy hit along the wall. This one from Girardi, and Talbot back after the puck. Rangers get it instead. Stepan off a skate. Diving is Brad Richards. Gustafsson has to retreat to get to it. Or Timonen. Timonen will just lob one out to center. That goes off of Raffle. And Ryan McDonough is back to get to it. Cavalier pursues him. Gonna change the direction and back to Girardi. Now pairing for the Rangers. The head for JT Miller, and now Eric Brassard will float one that's blocked away by Mason, but right to Boyle. Shot save, rebound. Mason ended up deep in his case, and that is off its moorings. Injured Ranger. Mason's on his back. Play all stop. Brassard, the Ranger, is slow getting back to his skates.
Tell you what, Vinny Lecavalier made a nice desperation play there. That puck was laying there in the crease area. Vigneault looking on. And Giroux has a little bit of a cross check, I believe, on the end of this play with Brassard, who's trying to find that loose puck. There's the push right there. And Vinny Lecavalier helping out defensively as well.
Got a break there, and that could have been very easily a cross-check defense like you mentioned. So you got to take advantage of these breaks. Now, we've all talked about the same thing. You can't sit back and let the Rangers dictate what's going to happen here. A lot easier to play in the other zone. And don't get yourself caught out of position, especially in your own zone right now. This is a time where teams need to play sound defense to win hockey games and not count on the goalie.
Flyers get control off the neutral zone draw. Gets it down the ice. Delzato across. Moore lost it at the Philadelphia line. A pop fly. Luke Shen out to the neutral zone. Voracek and Brassard. To corral the bouncing puck, could not. But now it's John Moore. There's the speed in across the line. Moore centers. It comes a backhand shot in on goal and an easy save for Mason. As the top shelf performers of this game, and it's low scoring, but there's still some numbers to talk about. Matt Reed has been very good, a 2-point night. Braden Coburn's goal the difference. Steve Mason, as we said, has been good. Talbot, very good in his debut. Moore and Kreider with assists for the Rangers, and Brad Richards their only goal.
And Max Talbot, to me, is one of the top shelf performers in this game. Coming back from that awful hit he took, and he's played a real strong third period, inspirational play for a guy that's got that type of game.
Pretty obvious his nose is still bleeding too.
Yep.
Here is Matt Reed. He'll poke that deeper. Stahl will roll it around to the other side of the ice. Allman trying to move up. Just turn back. Now Simmons with a steal. Simmons out near the line. A shot. Save Talbot. Rebound. Couturier digging, but Cam Talbot able to melt that one down.
Good decision there by Simmons as he gets that to the front of the net. Here's the night that Max Talbot has had. An outstanding job blocking the shot there late in the third period. Out there playing in critical minutes, and the hustle there is really what stands out. Takes the hit from Dan Girardi and keeps the feet moving. Really solid game from Max Talbot.
The face-off. Rangers control. McDonough. Up to center. Gustafson pushed it to the wall, but right there is Dominic Moore to clear it into the Philadelphia zone. Mason high off the glass. Lecavalier tips it. 2-on-1 for the Flyers. Giroux with the puck is now 3-on-1. Giroux holds. Finds Timonen it back for Giroux. It's tipped. Claude trying to get to it in the slot, but the Rangers come away with it. And McDonough will push it ahead to Dorsett. He'll clear the zone. Timonen turned it over in the neutral zone to Dorsett, who charges in. His shot. Save Mason. Rebound. And the Flyers will be able to move it up. Raffle heard the footsteps of McDonough, able to avoid the hit attempt, but the Rangers get the puck back. Dorsett holds on. Dorsett will shuttle it deep. Grossman seals off Brassard, but Coyle's there. The wraparound try. Stopped at the side of the net into the final 2 minutes of the third. Another wraparound try. Brassard is stopped. Now it's Delzato getting it back out. Miller shot wide. Flyers on their heels here as McDonough will go back out to Miller. Miller to Delzato. Delzato lost the puck. Left it along the wall. Flyers trying to clear. Cannot. At least initially. Reed gets in there. Reed trying to fight off several Rangers, but now Miller centers it. Goes all the way out. Here's a shot by John Moore wide. Behind the net. Grossman knocks down JT Miller. Grossman turns with the puck. Cam Talbot was just about to head to the bench, but he can't. And now here's Couturier moving up. Couturier holds on, waits and fires. And that's batted away by the young goaltender. Now Simmons around behind the net. Flyers like to bottle up the Rangers right here. It's Boyle to the puck. And he'll push it through center ice. Gustafson back to get it. Talbot looking to the Ranger bench. Oh, and Gustafson sent it all the way down. That's icing. And that will give the Rangers the offensive zone draw and obviously give them the chance to pull their goaltender.
Let's take a look at our player of the game, and we've talked about him all night. Matt Reed, he's going to give the Flyers that 1-0 lead as he goes 5-hole, and then he takes a stick to the head after Kreider's stick hits him right there off his own stick. Then he's going to take on Kreider again, and despite being knocked to the ice, gets up and puts a great pass into the slot area. He has been everywhere.
Off the face-off, extra attacker out for the Rangers. Stahl shot is blocked to the corner. David it into the quarter. Two Rangers get the puck away from him. Stepan to Richards. To Stepan. Couple Rangers in front. Here's Richards angling it through. It goes all the way to the boards. Back out to McDonough. Back and along behind the net. Gustafson pushes it to the wall. Voracek could not get there to clear. Now he'll try this side of the ice, and that will make it out of the zone. Half a minute remaining. McDonough back. 6 skaters on for the Rangers. His pass hit Pyatt. And now Pyatt will carry it in across the line. Drops it back. Stahl is checked. Voracek able to clear the zone. 15 seconds remaining. Richards fires all the way down. Mason will stop that puck. And he's being told to shoot by the crowd. He'll fire it off the glass, but not out of the zone. Here's McDonough down low, and it dribbles just wide. 4 seconds remain. Kreider holds, waits, fires, save. Mason throws the puck to the corner. So Boyle will carry on, and the game comes to an end. And the Flyers hang on for a 2-1 victory over the Rangers. Snap their 4-game streak and get win number 2 on the season. Mason with 30 saves was good, and Coburn's goal the difference.
Outstanding job by Mason. The Rangers lose yet again on this road trip, and Mason comes up with the big saves. Especially, they love that play late in the game, getting it out of his glove, making sure that time would expire.
Well, the Flyers find a way to get the win. They had to hang on for this 2-1 decision, but it is a win, and one they needed in the worst way. So the Flyers win it 2-1. And they could try to make it 2 wins in a row on Saturday night on Long Island. Islanders have been a team that they seem to be on the rise. Should be a good hockey game. Our coverage begins with Flyers pregame live at 6:30. Here tonight, Flyers playing another entry from the metropolitan New York area, the Rangers. And there were some missed throws. Flyers win it though for the entire crew, as well as my broadcast partners Keith Jones and Steve Coates. I'm Jim Jackson. Good night from the Wells Fargo Center. Stay tuned now. Flyers postgame live presented by McDonald's.